start the 2025 Tire Rack One Lap of America, presented by Grassroots Motorsport Magazine, with coverage this year brought to you by HP Tuners. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about what HP Tuners is doing and how they're helping our competitors in the One Lap of America. So over here is Adam Spence. He is the product manager for motorsports. Adam, I see you found our Kentucky boys here, and they've been running the HP Tuners software and a few other things. So why don't you find out what these guys have been doing, right?
Absolutely. Thanks, Solomon. So, yeah, I mean, we met you guys last year, and the car was a different color. Yes. So we'll come on to that in a minute. But before we do, we're here to talk about HP Tuners. So I understand you're running HP Tuners, and it's helped out in a number of different areas, which I was really impressed by. But maybe you can tell us a little bit about your story.
Obviously we've done some modifications to the engine, cam heads and full bolts on. Used HP Tuner software in order to dial that in, get the timing right. And this year we actually put the car on E85 with a flex fuel sensor. So we used HP Tuners for that. And also we turned down the fans. That was one issue we were having before we left. We had them on full time, fried the module, and then was able to dial that back to kick on at like 194 on the coolant temp, so to save our fans from frying up. So, so yeah, HP Tuner's been really great to us, and we enjoy using it.
That's fantastic, thank you. And I think you were just telling a story about there might be a video out there of the dyno pools.
Yes, so actually 2 days prior to heading out here, we actually put it on the rollers at a friend's local shop. It was Chicken Hawk Motorsports, which is just right across the street from our shop. And so we put it on there. The car done awesome. The E85 worked great, and it's really helping this thing stay a lot cooler, because these cars are plagued with cooling issues. And so being able to do the fan adjustment and the E85 really helped us out a lot. And there's actually a dyno video on our our YouTube page, Kentucky Boys Motorsports.
That's fantastic, thank you. So you definitely need to check out that video to see exactly what happened with the car. But going back to the color, what happened?
I don't know if I can even answer that question. we're just kind of over the red, and it's like, all right, let's do something different. We had a friend back home that does a lot of car wrapping and stuff, so he was pretty eager also, encouraged us to say, hey, let's wrap that car, let's do something cool. So we kind of sat down and on the fly just chose a color, and next thing you know, getting it wrapped. And
there Detail Tech for that.
Yeah, Detail Tech in Somerset, Kentucky. Yeah, great bunch of people.
That's fantastic, thank you. So a lot of people don't realize, but with tuning engines, there's a lot more to it than just unlocking horsepower. So as we were talking about here, cooling, especially for motorsports, is absolutely paramount. And so just getting that right, both on the transit, but also at the track, and having that balance is critical on an event like One Lap. I mean, One Lap is an amazing event. It's just great to see. So obviously with HP Tuners, we provide the tools, so you can do what you need to do to your car, whatever it may be. Now, one trick that you might not have thought of yet is you can actually go in there and have different tunes. So you could have a tune for the track, and then when you're actually on the street, you can have a tune which increases your fuel economy. Now, would that help you out as you're doing transits?
Yeah, actually it would. That would be great. Maybe to even do next year if we're going to have longer transits between tracks, and that would be something to look forward to trying out.
I can verify that. They had a hard time keeping up with our Hyundai Palisade.
All the frequent stops.
Yeah, well, yeah. Theirs.
Is that vehicle tuned?
It is in the sticker department.
And those stickers look fantastic.
They add 5 horsepower each.
At least 30 horsepower over there.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate it. Is there anything else you wanted to add, or anything else you wanted to say, or give a shout out to your channel or anything?
Just a shout out to our guys back home that helped us get this car together. Justin Pettit. We actually had a guy come up to South Bend to bring some gear to us. Gary Hunter.
Yep. And then Jeremy.
Yeah, Jeremy. Dare to Dream. The last 2 years out in Kansas. Somehow we're in Kansas City and we've had issues, and he has been Johnny on the spot about just bringing it to the shop, hooking us up.
Yeah, we stayed
Can't
up
thank him enough.
1 a.m. fixing the splitter.
Yep. In Kansas City. So, and he saved us last year when we broke a coilover and got it welded up for us.
Yep.
So he's
it takes a team.
It takes a whole team, and the car community is just amazing bunch of people.
That's fantastic. Now, I will give a shout out to Jeremy, because I've been running with Jeremy for 10 years. We've done everything together, and I've actually got a couple of cars in his shop right now.
Okay.
So yeah, Dare to Dream gets everywhere. It is a small world, it really is. That's fantastic. So Jeremy, you're doing a great job. Solomon, I'm going to hand this back to you, but I really appreciate you setting this up today.
Well, not only that, but I know that these aren't the only competitors who are utilizing the HP Tuner software one way or the other. So we're going to go and show you some other competitors and explain how they're utilizing the HP Tuner softwares. Now you find me in front of this beautiful 2020 Shelby GT500 carbon fiber track pack. And the owners of this vehicle also utilize HP tuning. So Adam, why don't we find out exactly what these gentlemen have used HP tuning for?
Fantastic, thanks Solomon. So I saw the car and I saw the logo and I just had to come across. And it was great to hear the story, but rather than me telling it, I'd love to hear from your perspective where you started and where you are now and what you use HP tuners for.
All right. Yeah, we put a coder intake on it and a smaller upper pulley on the supercharger and intercooler and an ice brick in it, and then took it to the local shop, Inject Engineering, who uses HP tuners for Mopar and Ford, and he put on a dyno and tuned it with the HP tuners, and it made about 815 to the tires.
That's incredible. So, I mean, it's an incredible car. You're driving it, I understand, but who owns the car?
I do.
Oh, fantastic. So you've got to tell us about this. You have to tell us about buying this car and what it means.
So this is our fourth time doing the one lap, and we've done it in different cars almost every time. So I started looking at the GT500s, and I wanted to get one, and I wanted either orange or the highlighter yellow or the green one, you know. So I found this one in town, you know, and Mark and I went and looked at it, and we went back and forth with them for about a month, but I got it, and I truly love it, you know. And it had plenty of power, but like I said, we massaged it a little bit, and now it makes, you know, tons of power, and it's just so reliable, it runs so well, rides so nice. I mean, you know, even with the tuning it yesterday on the interstate running 75, we're getting 20 miles to the gallon. Come on, you know, 800 horsepower, 20 miles to the gallon on the interstate, that's fantastic, you know. So no, it just runs great, and it's just a great vehicle. It's so effortless to drive. It's just so easy to drive. Truly love it, truly love it.
That's fantastic, thanks. Now, you mentioned about it's effortless to drive, but 815 to the rear wheels, that's a lot, right?
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like on track, how's it doing out there? Like, what are you finding?
It does good. You have to be easy coming out of the corners with the torque and power it makes. It just wants to spin the tires, but I mean, once you get about third gear, it puts it down pretty good.
What about the launch?
Yeah, not using launch control on the street tires. It just blows them off first and second gear.
So that makes perfect sense. I'm having the same trouble. I've been Googling around trying to find out how to launch, and so I've got a couple of tips now, which I'm going to try. And in fact, I tried it today. So we're going to the drag strip. What are your thoughts on the launch at the drag strip?
Depending if it's prepped or not, we'll use launch control. If not, we'll just ease out in first gear. But if it's prepped, we'll probably do launch control, just set it kind of low and see if it hooks up.
That's fantastic. Well, it's a beautiful car. It's a great story. It's great to hear that it went from, is it 760 horsepower? Wow. All the way to 815 to the wheels, which is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, on 93 octane.
On 93 octane.
Yeah, you don't have to run around, get E85 or anything.
Yeah.
Reliables all get out. And yeah, so.
Sorry, I should have given that.
No, fine. No, like I was saying, on 93 octane. So you don't have to worry about E85 trying to hunt that down. Just go pull up to your local pump and fill it up and good to go.
I'll take that back for a second. Mark, Todd, thank you very much for sharing your story with us, and we've got a few more to bring to you as well. I mean, HP tuners everywhere. Why isn't it in yours yet? All right, now we're here with Chris and Dylan Brierly with their Shaky Dog Corvette. It's got some history to it. Some of you who are familiar with the one lap will know Chris and Tina Lewis, right? Yep. So previous one lappers, former winners. This is one of their vehicles, but this vehicle has some extensive history that you guys are going to go through with Adam, right?
Yep. Absolutely. Thanks, Solomon. So yeah, I've understood a little bit about the car, but I also understand that this year you wanted to make some changes and some improvements. So maybe if you can talk us through what you've done and how that's been going.
Sure. So obviously we got a bunch of aero done on it, and the car was doing well, but we just needed some more horsepower for the big straights. So on goes supercharger, and I went down to my shop, XP Racing, and had Brent help me out. We threw that supercharger. I threw it on and brought it to him, and he gave me a simple tune to get it unloaded from the trailer, pull it on there. Threw in his tune, threw it on the dyno, blew the clutch out of it. So new clutch, back on the dyno, some more tuning, got the little bitty bits parts fixed out, and got the idles down at low speed done real well, and dropped it on the dyno, pulled 653 to the wheels. And his is a really conservative dyno, so that's what he tells me. I use it for some WRL stuff. It helped out. Nice. Yeah, so did that and came out here, and Brett also wanted some meth injection on it, so that's on there too. Keep things cool. And yeah, you get going down the straightaway, and my little red light turns to green, and things start going in a blur. So yeah, it's a lot of fun to drive. The car handles really well, and there's no idiot behind the wheel, and yeah, it's a blast.
That's fantastic. So I spoke to the shop owner earlier to understand, the experience with HP tuners, and sounds like everything's going really well. What's your overall experience, with the Transits? Maybe I should actually ask the Transit driver. So how's driving Transit with this?
It's been very interesting. It's been quite an adjustment getting up at, 5:30 in the morning sometimes, getting in at midnight, 11:30.
So 600 horsepower on the Transits. How's that? Is that fun?
There's been some cars that pulled up and tried to race, and you just got to put them in their place sometimes.
But no street racing, right?
No, that would be illegal.
No, right.
We don't do that.
I tell you, this car
We simply remind them with exhaust noise.
You're right. This car is disgusting to drive on the street. It is terrible. The clutch is stiff. First gear is just hoppy, and people are like, this thing wants to go. I go, yeah, but at this light, it's not gonna. And I said, get it out of the track, and it's in its home. It loves it. But yeah, it's a fun car.
So unfortunately, we can't do anything about the manual transmission. If it was an auto or a DCT, we probably could, but you're on your own on that one, unfortunately.
I'll just keep tuned fist then, huh?
There you go, HP tuned fist.
Yep.
Well, I really appreciate it, guys. It's been great to hear about the car, and I wish you all the luck out there. It's been fantastic. Great. And I'll pass it back to Solomon.
Yep.
So we are back here at Groton Raceway, this time with another HP Tune vehicle, and this one had a little bit of an issue today. Adam, why don't you talk us through exactly what had happened and how HP Tuners came to the rescue, along with Lingenfelter?
Absolutely. So yeah, get to the track this morning, and the guys came up and we're having a few issues with the car. So suspected map sensor problem, and this is where HP Tuner software is so powerful, because we've got industry-leading diagnostic software where we're able to scan the vehicle and work with our dealers and others to actually come up with a solution. So I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to hand it across to what you were experiencing on track, and we can go from there of how we fixed it.
Perfect. Yeah, on my first lap I went out and the car went into limp mode, so it was pulling power. And obviously that's incredibly frustrating. So I came back into the pits, and obviously exasperated by what was going on. And these guys came over and immediately knew exactly what we needed to do. Grabbed the tools. We had all the personnel that we needed and all the expertise and knowledge that we needed to in order to get me back on track again. So absolutely wonderful. Can't thank these guys enough from HP Tuners and Lingenfelter. We've just got back on track again, super happy. The car made amazing power on the afternoon, and we actually set some really good times. So thank you guys, much appreciated.
Yeah, so this is an example where HP Tuners makes the tools, but we really leave it down to the customers and dealers to actually provide the tune and actually go through and work out what's happening and go and fix it. So Brandon, maybe you can talk us through exactly what happened and what you had to do to actually get it fixed.
For sure. So as we all know, these C7s, Z06s, they're very common to go into limp mode. That's what Doug experienced here this morning. And we were just kind of walking through and we were able to help him out. Adam here is able to help us out, and we did a full readout on the vehicle. From there, we were able to go in and modify a few tables to help it stay out of the limp mode, mainly map sensor related on this car currently. So we were able to fix the car and go out there and drive it and run through its paces and have fun with it.
Yeah, made great power. Thank you.
For sure.
Well, I really appreciate it, guys. I love being dragged into it. I mean, the HP Tuner's hat probably doesn't help knowing who I am in the paddock. But no, it was a great experience, and it was great to meet you guys. And this is a great thing about motorsports, is going through these things, we help each other out. And that's where tools like ours and with what we do here, and again with our amazing dealer network, it really works. So we're here with Chris from On the Ledge Racing, and walking around the paddock yesterday, I discovered that Chris had a great experience with HP tuners, actually with a remote tune. So that's something else, again, working with our dealer network we do. So Chris, maybe you can tell us a little bit about your experience with that.
Yeah, so we were looking to gain a bit of power, but nothing too crazy, and so keep our reliability. So we did some engine modifications, intake, manifold, and we went to an ethanol tune. And so we worked with Guatney Performance, who's based in Arkansas, who's done a lot of work with HP tuning and with Camaros, and worked with them to find a solution that would work for us. Doing it remotely through going home, doing our pulls, sending them the data, using our laptop to both record and to push the tunes onto the car, send them everything, and they were able to go through a series of rounds and really get the car to where it was running clean, runs with both on ethanol as well as 93, and it's been a pretty smooth and seamless transition throughout one lap. It's been great.
That's fantastic. So we all know that running ethanol can cause problems sometimes, but it sounds like you've had absolutely no issues with the tune running ethanol?
Yeah, it's been so far so good. We didn't touch anything, engine back, so it's been running. We took it, it's gotten inspected. It's street legal and got registered and everything like that without any issues after the tune. So it's been smooth and a good transition for us from stock to a little bump up in power. Hopefully, we look at. We kind of expect right now we're running about 50 horsepower more, which has been exactly what we're shooting for.
That's fantastic. So another example where HP Tuners is helping out the motorsports community, and you can do it from the comfort of your own home. So here's another example where HP Tuners does more than just tuning. So our scanner software is industry leading, and it actually supports any vehicle. The nice thing about our scanning software is you can go and select parameters such as engine coolant temperature, but you don't have to know exactly which parameter that is in the ECU. We basically have a generic term which will go and pick the best engine coolant temperature, for example, parameter from the ECU itself at the highest update rate, which is what you want. Now, if we look at all the parameters that we support on my vehicle, we've got everything from engine coolant temperature, which is extremely important, engine oil temperature, which is very important. And in fact, there's a really interesting story about engine oil temperature. The first time I ran this car on track for the first 2 weekends, I was getting 295 degrees of engine oil temperature on track, which is terrifying for an engine. So worked with the community, started to understand exactly what might be up, and ended up putting a slightly thicker oil in, which might be counterintuitive, but that actually provided us with significantly decreased engine oil temperatures. So that's another example where it's a really useful tool. You also get things like wideband to make sure the tune is nice and safe and doing everything you want it to do, as well as everything including engine torque, engine load, and fuel system status, such as is it in closed loop or open loop. You get intuitive graphs. You basically get a histogram where you can actually look at things like spark advance throughout the entire session in an intuitive way, just to make sure what's happening with the timing. So again, the diagnostics level and scanning side of the product itself is industry leading, and it's really exciting to see how it helps solve an issue. Just to show you what the MPVI looks like itself, this is the MPVI, and it plugs into the OBD2 port, and we can do standalone data logging on it, as well as actually connecting a USB-C cable, connecting it to the laptop to do data logging if we need to. So there we have it, the HP Tuners scanning software.
So as you can see, HP Tuners, not just the media sponsor for the One Lap of America, but really in a lot of the vehicles and a lot of stories in terms of how they're helping competitors achieve their best potential and really achieve success here at the One Lap of America. But there's one thing we've left out, Adam, because people have to get to and from the event. So I'm going to hand the mic over to you. Why don't you tell us what HP Tuners can do for their tow vehicles?
Thanks, Solomon. Yeah, so towing, especially with motorsports itself, has become a real priority when it comes to tuning. So we support a ton of different trucks out there when it comes to improving fuel economy and just making sure that when you're towing, you get the appropriate power without putting that engine at risk and increasing those exhaust gas temperatures. So it's really critical to understand exactly what's happening with the vehicle as well. And so HP Tuners helps with that, but actually the tune itself to support the towing vehicles, which many of us have, is again paramount.
Well, Adam, I want to thank you so much and HP Tuners so much for coming aboard and partnering with us this year. We hope it's the first of many collaborations here as we grow the event and HP Tuners becomes a bigger part as we talked about, but stay tuned for that. In the meantime, for the 2025 Tire Rack One Lap of America, presented by Grassroots Motorsport Magazine with all this coverage brought to you by HP Tuners, I'm Solomon, this is Adam. Thanks for watching.
And don't forget to check out our website to see all the vehicles that we do support. We're adding new vehicles all the time. hptuners.com is a place to go to see everything you need.